Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to this cozy little corner where stories come alive and where every life, no matter the age, carries wisdom worth sharing. Today, I want to share with you something truly special, the story of Hal's odyssey of movement and renewal. It's not just a tale about exercise or staying active. It's about a man who, after decades of routines and responsibilities, dared to rediscover himself. One step, one stretch, one breath at a time. Hal's journey reminds us that movement isn't just physical. It's emotional, spiritual, and deeply human. It's the quiet rebellion against stagnation, the gentle unfolding of limbs long forgotten, the courage to begin again, even when the world tells you it's too late. This is more than a story. It's a testament to resilience, a call to keep moving, not just our bodies, but our hearts, our hopes, our lives. Let's walk this path together. Let's rediscover what it means to feel alive. Pineville, North Carolina, is a small town where time seems to linger. Its oak-lined streets dappled with sunlight, and its air scented with pine and the faint sweetness of diner pies. The community lake mirrors the sky, a gathering place for fishermen, families, and dreamers watching sunsets. Harold Hal Bennett, a 70-year-old retired mechanic, lives in a weathered bungalow adorned with a handcrafted porch swing that creaks with memories. Once a man who walked miles with ease, Hal's world has shrunk as his knees protest and his energy fades, leaving him tethered to routine and regret. Yet a spark of determination, ignited by loved ones and neighbors, sets him on a path to rediscover movement through 5 unexpected activities, proving that vitality can bloom at any age. The October dawn crept into Hal Bennett's Pineville bungalow, its light soft but insistent, spilling across the hardwood floor where dust motes danced. Hal sat in his worn recliner, its leather molded to his frame, after years of evenings spent with coffee and old radio tunes. His hands, rough from decades of wrench turning, cradled a chipped mug, the coffee inside long gone cold. Outside, the ancient oak in his yard stood tall, its leaves whispering autumn's arrival. At 70, Hal had always been a doer, fixing engines, building swings, walking the lake's winding path until the stars came out. But now, his knees groaned with every step, each one a reminder of limits he hadn't asked for. His walks, once a daily ritual, had faded to fleeting moments, leaving him adrift in a sea of stillness that felt like surrender. The screen door squeaked, and Ethan, his 15-year-old grandson, bounded in, his sneakers scuffing the floor, his face alight with the careless joy of youth. "Grandpa, you're coming to my soccer game, right? Saturday at the park. It's not far. We could walk together like old times." Hal's smile was thin, masking a pang in his chest. "I'd love to, kiddo, but my knees, they're not up for it. Walking's a chore now." Ethan's brow furrowed, his enthusiasm dimming as he dropped onto the couch, kicking at a stray sock. "No way, Grandpa. You used to outwalk everybody. Remember when we raced to the lake? Maybe you could try something else. Dad says the rec center's got classes, yoga, swimming, stuff like that. You're not, like, ancient." Hal laughed, a dry sound that caught in his throat. "Not ancient." The words echoed, stirring a mix of defiance and doubt. He'd been young once, hadn't he? Strong, unstoppable, the guy who'd carry Ethan on his shoulders across the fairgrounds. Now, the mirror showed a man with silver hair and lines etched deep, a stranger to the Hal he remembered. As Ethan left, Hal's eyes fell on a flyer Lisa, his daughter, had tucked under a magnet on the fridge. Pineville Wellness Fair. Move your way. A note in her neat script read, "Dad, you're tougher than you think." The words settled in him, heavy and warm. Lisa believed in him, Ethan too. Maybe they saw something he'd lost sight of. Hal set the mug down, its clink against the table, a small act of resolve. He pulled on his denim jacket, the scent of motor oil still faint in its fibers, and stepped into the crisp morning. The path to the rec center wasn't long, but each step felt like a question. Could he move again? Could he live again? Activity 1. Gentle yoga to breathe again. Pineville's rec center was a patchwork of sound and life, its gym a symphony of squeaking sneakers, clanking weights, and laughter that spilled like sunlight. Hal paused at the doorway, his boots rooted to the linoleum. The sight of vibrant yoga mats and stretching seniors making him feel like an outsider in a world of spandex and confidence. Then a familiar voice cut through his hesitation. "Hal Bennett, don't you dare sneak off." Ruth Carter, 72, stood by a rack of foam rollers, her silver braid swinging as she waved him over. Ruth, who'd brought casseroles to Hal's doorstep after his wife passed, had a warmth that disarmed his doubts. "Join this yoga class. It's gentle, perfect for stubborn old mechanics." Hal rubbed his neck, a half smile tugging at his lips. "Yoga, Ruth? I can't even touch my toes without a fight. My knees stage a revolt." Ruth's eyes crinkled, her laugh a melody of patience. "Oh, Hal, you sound like me when I started. My hips were like rusty hinges. My back screamed. Walking was all I had, and even that was a struggle. Gentle yoga changed everything. It's not about fancy poses. It's stretching slow, breathing deep, finding balance. It wakes your body up, keeps your heart steady." Hal squinted, curious despite himself. "You're telling me this stuff works for folks our age?" "Like magic," Ruth said, pressing a mat into his hands, its softness surprising him. "Studies say yoga reduces joint pain by 40% for seniors, improves balance to stop falls, even calms your blood pressure. My doctor says I'm a walking miracle, pun intended." Hal's skepticism wavered, nudged by Ruth's conviction. He followed her to the class, where Maria, a soft-spoken instructor with a ponytail, welcomed him with a nod. The room smelled faintly of lavender, and as Maria's voice guided them, "Inhale, lift your arms, exhale, lower slowly." Hal tried a seated stretch, his knees protesting but yielding. A gentle twist sent a ripple of relief through his spine, and a deep breath felt like unlocking a door long closed. Around him, others moved with quiet focus, their faces etched with effort and peace, and Hal sensed a shared strength, a community of survivors refusing to sit still. As they rolled up their mats, Ruth nudged him. "See, you didn't break. Come back tomorrow. Your body's got more to say." Hal walked home under a sky streaked with pink, his steps lighter, his heart humming. Yoga wasn't the lake path, but it was a beginning, a whisper of possibility. He signed up for weekly classes, each session loosening a knot in his body and his spirit, teaching him to breathe again, to live again. Activity 2. Light strength, training to reclaim strength. The rec center's weight room was a quiet corner, its air tinged with rubber and metal, where Hal found Lois Duncan one Tuesday morning. Lois, 71, who'd once filled Pineville with the aroma of her bakery's cinnamon rolls, was curling small dumbbells, her focus as steady as her hands. "Lois, you're lifting weights?" Hal said, leaning against a rack, his voice teasing but curious. Thought you'd be rolling dough, not iron. Lois set the dumbbells down, her smile wide. Had to reinvent myself, Hal. My legs gave up on walks. Too much pain, too little fight. My doctor pushed light strength training to rebuild muscle, strengthen bones. It's not about bulking up, just small weights, bands, or squats using a chair. It's given me back my spark. Hal crossed his arms, intrigued but cautious. Weights at our age? Sounds like a recipe for trouble. Not if you're careful, Lois said, her eyes earnest. I started with 2-pounders, went slow. Research shows strength training boosts muscle mass for seniors, cuts fall risk by 30%, even helps with blood sugar. I'm hauling flour sacks again. Well, groceries, but you get it. Hal pictured gym buffs, not retirees, but Lois's quiet confidence pulled him in. She handed him a 3-pound dumbbell. Its weight light but solid. Try a curl. You've fixed engines. You can handle this. Hal gripped it, his arm trembling as he curled, the motion waking muscles he'd forgotten. Lois showed him a chair squat, her voice steady. Down slow, up strong. His thighs burned, but a warmth spread through him, a flicker of the strength that once defined him. He wasn't rebuilding cars, but he was rebuilding himself, one lift at a time. Lois's class became his anchor, a Wednesday ritual of weights, bands, and squats. Each session fortified his legs, his resolve. Strength training wasn't walking, but it was power, a foundation for a body he could trust again. Activity 3. Swimming to rise above. The community pool glowed under Pineville's morning sun, its glass walls framing a world of ripples and laughter. Hal stood at the edge, the chlorine scent sharp in his nose, watching seniors glide through laps or splash in playful chaos. Walter Hayes, a 69-year-old retired teacher, emerged from the water, his grin as bright as the lake at noon. "Hal, are you joining the swim team?" Walter called, tossing him a towel. "Water's a cure for what ails you." Hal shifted, his boots scuffing the tile. "Haven't swum since the 80s, Walt. My knees hate walking." "Why'd this be any kinder?" Walter dried his hair, his voice rich with conviction. "Water doesn't fight you, Hal. It lifts you. No strain on your joints. My arthritis used to chain me to the couch. Couldn't walk to the mailbox without wincing. Now I swim 3 times a week. Builds muscle, burns calories, feels like flying. Studies say it slashes heart disease risk, keeps you limber." Hal's brow furrowed, doubt tugging at him. "What if I flail and sink?" "You won't," Walter said, clapping his shoulder. "Start shallow, maybe try aqua aerobics. It's easy on the body, tough on excuses." Hal hesitated, then stepped into the warm water, the pool's embrace, startlingly gentle. His knees, so vocal on land, fell silent, and as he tried a stroke, he felt weightless, unburdened. An aqua aerobics group beckoned, their instructor calling out moves, arms up, kick out, and Hal joined, splashing through laughter and rhythm, his body alive in ways he'd forgotten. The water wasn't just a place, it was a partner, holding him as he moved. Walter's words rang true. Swimming was freedom. Hal returned twice weekly, each lap a reclaiming of strength, his heart soaring where his feet couldn't tread. Activity 4. Stationary cycling to chase horizons. Rain tapped Pineville's rec center one gray afternoon, and Hal wandered into the cardio room, where stationary bikes spun in quiet harmony. Ellen Parker, a 68-year-old florist with a knack for roses, pedaled with focus, her face glowing despite the drizzle outside. "Ellen, "Are you gunning for a race?" Hal quipped, hovering near a bike. Ellen slowed, her laugh bright. "Not quite, Hal. My knees turned walks into torture, so I tried this. Stationary cycling a lifesaver. Kind to your joints, great for your ticker. I was winded crossing the street. Now I pedal 20 minutes easy." Hal studied the bike, wary. "Cycling? I haven't ridden since Eisenhower. Won't it mess me up?" "Not these," Ellen said, tapping the frame. "No jolts, just flow. Research says it strengthens legs, cuts heart attack risk by 20% for our age. And you can watch the news while you're at it. Beats rotting on the couch." Hal climbed aboard, the seat firm but welcoming. The pedals glided, his knees compliant. And as Ellen dialed up a light resistance, he found a rhythm. A classic rock tune from the speakers urging him on. His breath quickened, not with strain, but with life. And a smile broke free, unbidden. It wasn't a mountain trail, but it was a journey, one pedal at a time. Ellen's tip reshaped his routine. Hal found a second-hand bike for his garage, pedaling each morning to the drone of westerns or ball game replays. Cycling wasn't walking, but it was motion, a road to somewhere new. Activity 5, stretching to embrace ease. At Pineville's Lake, the annual community picnic unfolded in a riot of checkered blankets and barbecue smoke. Hal sat with Dr. Susan Lee, a 65-year-old physical therapist whose calm voice carried wisdom. Over tart lemonade, he shared his victories, but confessed a lingering tightness, a sense of being bound. "Hal, you're doing wonderfully, but are you stretching?" Susan asked, her eyes gentle but piercing. Hal chuckled, rubbing his hands. "Stretching? That's for gymnasts, not guys like me." Susan shook her head, her smile patient. "It's for all of us, especially at 70. Aging tightens muscles, locks joints, makes every move harder. Daily stretching, reaching down, rolling shoulders, keeps you fluid, reduces injury, eases pain. Studies show it boosts mobility by 25% for seniors, lets you keep doing what you love." Hal tilted his head, skeptical. "Sounds too simple to make a difference." "Simple's where the power hides," Susan said, standing to show a calf stretch, her movements smooth. 10 minutes a day, morning or evening. You'll feel it, freedom in your bones." Hal mimicked her, his calves lengthening, a quiet relief spreading through his legs. Susan taught him more: hamstring pulls, arm circles, a neck tilt that melted tension. The lake sparkled nearby, and as Hal stretched, he felt part of its flow, his body softening like clay, warmed by the sun. At home, he stretched his dawn ritual, each motion a small prayer for ease. Stretching wasn't a lap around the lake, but it was an opening, a way to greet the world unbound. 2 months later, Hal stood on his porch, the November air crisp with the promise of frost. Pineville stirred awake, its church bells chiming softly, and Hal's breath formed faint clouds as he sipped his coffee, now warmed to the last drop. His knees still muttered, but their complaints were softer, drowned by a body that moved with newfound grace. A recent checkup had brought smiles from his doctor, blood pressure down, endurance up, a heart beating strong. Yet the truest change was invisible. A fire rekindled in Hal's spirit, a belief that his story wasn't over. Hal had embraced 5 paths where walking faltered. Gentle yoga had softened his edges, weaving balance and breath into his days. Swimming had lifted him, a weightless dance that freed his joints. Light strength training had rebuilt his foundation, each lift a testament to resilience. Stationary cycling had set his heart racing, chasing horizons from his garage. Stretching had kept him open, a daily act of care that felt like love. He wasn't flawless. Some mornings, he lingered in bed, skipping yoga. Some evenings, he forgot to stretch. But Hal knew perfection wasn't the goal. Presence was. At 70, he'd discovered that aging wasn't a curtain falling. It was a stage for new acts, new ways to shine. Ethan's soccer game loomed tomorrow, and Hal would be there, maybe riding part way, but his voice would carry across the field, loud with pride. The oak tree swayed, its branches a map of endurance, and Hal felt a quiet gratitude for Ruth's laughter, Walter's encouragement, Pineville's steady heart. He wasn't just moving, he was alive. Every creak and triumph, a note in a song he'd keep singing. Hal's journey is more than one man's tale. It's a call to you, whether you're 60, 70, or 80, or standing on the cusp of those years, watching time carve its lines. Maybe you feel it too. The ache in your knees, the walks that once felt like flight, now heavy with effort. Maybe you think movement belongs to the young, that your body's story is written. But listen, your heart still beats for motion. Your soul still hungers for life. And today, right now, you hold the pen. The 5 activities Hal found aren't feats of strength. They're gentle doors to a vibrant you. Step into gentle yoga, where stretches melt stiffness and breaths mend your spirit. Slip into a pool. Let swimming carry you, light as a dream, beyond the weight of years. Lift a small weight. Feel strength bloom, a quiet power growing with each try. Pedal a stationary bike. Let your heart race toward tomorrows you've yet to see. Stretch each day. Open your body like a window, letting ease and possibility pour in. You don't need to conquer marathons or rewrite your life in a day. Start small, a yoga class at the rec center, a dip in the community pool, 10 minutes of stretching by your window. Those moments ripple, building days where you rise with purpose, evenings filled with laughter, years that stretch long and full. Age isn't your limit. It's your invitation, a chance to choose health, joy, and the fire within you. Hal began with doubt, a man in a recliner who thought his best was gone, but he found his spark, and you can too. Today, this moment, act. Sign up for that class, take that swim, reach for your toes, and feel your body answer. You deserve a life that moves, a heart that sings, a story that soars. Don't let another sunrise pass. Make aging your canvas, painting it with strength, grace, and every vibrant hue of you. If Hal's Odyssey has stirred your heart, if it's lit a flame of what's possible, join us. This channel is a gathering place for stories like his, raw, real, radiant with hope, to inspire you to live boldly, whatever your age. Click subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with someone who needs a nudge, a friend, a parent, a neighbor. Your support keeps these stories alive, fueling more tips, tales, and encouragement to light your path. Together, we can redefine aging, not as fading, but as flourishing, a season of movement, connection, and unstoppable spirit. Take that first step now, for you, for your future, for a life that shines.